Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of our Cruising Through COVID series. Today, really excited to bring you a little bit of an outside the hospitality and gaming environment viewpoint. Today, we started looking at retail operations and visited the Phoenix Premium Outlet Mall, which is wide open. Actually, not all retailers were open, just a few, actually, majority were, but not all. And I want you to take this video in perspective of, these learnings are not just for mall environments. I think there's some learnings that you're going to get out of this short video here that give you some, if you're an independent retailer, even if you're outside of retail, understanding that there is a bit of, just commonality of what we're going to talk about amongst all industries. But again, for those of you in the retail sector, wanted to do a little bit of a deep dive into retail. So, of course, have some photos from the visit today. So starting off upon entry of the Phoenix Outlet Premium Outlet Center, you'll notice they did have social distancing signing as soon as you walked into any of the entry points. A couple different ways that they displayed this information you'll see here. I think it's important for operators of retail outlets to understand that you're a part of a macro organization, especially in this type of a setting. So these protocols, these standards were for the entire public area of the Phoenix Premium Outlets itself. But there were retailers that had stricter guidelines based on their company expectations and standards that they would post on the door, or you get notified as you were walking into one of their stores. The other thing you noticed as you were going through, they did have social distancing signage on benches, any seating areas. So that was really important. And then you also noticed that upon any entry area, you also notice these hand sanitizer stations. Didn't quite notice them as you're walking through the entire area itself, but mainly at the points of entry. Again, not every retailer had hand sanitizer as soon as you walked in, but they were at the point of entries of this outdoor shopping center. Now, again, when I mentioned understanding how you fit into a macro environment, here's an example. So you go to the Phoenix Premium Outlet Center, right? That's a brand name for itself. You're a part of that, greater brand, but you also have your own brand perspective and standards and elements that make your brand special that you're adhering to. So majority of the retailers, as you're walking through the Phoenix Premium Outlets, actually had their doors closed. It was 110 degrees today. It was very hot. So I understand that, but I'll prove that point or touch back on that here in a second. So here's just a quick photo. If I looked straight down the side of the shopping center here, you'll see majority of the retailers' doors are closed. I will tell you, there was one retail organization that stood out to me completely in a positive way, and it was actually, frankly, a wow moment. Under Armour had a massive line, and I'm going to show you a photo of their setup here in a second. Massive line to get into their store. They were doing occupancy limits, which was great. You won't see the line in the photo, and I just want to tee this up because they had a huge line. However, they moved the line undercover around the side because it was so hot, so they got everyone out of the sun. So you won't necessarily see the line that they had out front, but it was huge because they used like an employee hallway that was covered and cool for the customers that were standing there. However, when you think about your customers entering a building, whether you're retail, any other outlet, who wants to touch a door handle? I think there's been so much negative fear instilled into customers and the public at large that you've really got to understand every touch point and how it makes them feel, right? And understand. I was watching people physically move out of the way when someone got too close to them today because they've been programmed with all the messaging. Good or bad, we're not going to go there. But frankly, it is what it is. So understanding the mindset of individuals based on what they've been, hearing over the last couple months is really important as a brand in order to execute and really alleviate concerns, hidden stressors that you may not know about. So here's the Under Armour setup. Again, completely knocked this out of the park. So you'll notice they had 2 employees sitting here, almost as like safety concierge, welcoming people. Didn't have to worry about the door, touching the door, because they held it open with that cart, and when people weren't going to be funneling in, they closed the door a little bit to save on AC. But they offered a hand sanitizer spritz as you were walking into the store. Again, a warm welcome, but they thought through every aspect of what one of their customers, might want or may not want to do, and to make them feel comfortable going into their retail outlet. So Under Armour, way to go. I thought it was really well done. I actually heard a couple customers talking about, how cool that was. They didn't see any of the other stores necessarily going to that length. So again, think how your customers, think through your entire journey, your touch points, everywhere that a customer may have to touch, what they may not have to touch, what they have to stand next to. I did visit 2 other casino organizations today, and I'm going to follow up with those videos and takeaways tomorrow, just to space this out a little bit. But some really interesting connections here. Again, no matter what your industry is or what business you're in, it's really important to understand what's stressing your customer out right now and how you can help alleviate that those hidden stressors. So if you're unsure what your customer stressors are, I cannot hit this point hard enough. Ask them, right? Do a survey. Some folks may think that doing a survey is cumbersome. It's a burden on the customer, but frankly, I would tell you, they appreciate the opportunity to opine on the process, right? They actually, when you ask them, what they're concerns about, do they have, issues or concerns about touching a door handle coming in? It shows that you care, right? It shows that you're taking the initiative to actually provide an experience that's tailored around them. So for those that may think it's a burden or it's a challenge, I would argue, I think the benefits are 10 times greater by at least asking your customer what it is that stands out or what you can do to make it a better experience for them. So again, thank you for joining for our 4-day journey here. We're only on day 3. Again, I'll have 2 more casino insights for you tomorrow, not just looking at the gaming floor, but all aspects of the experience. And we're going to try to hit a couple spots as we make our way back into Southern Nevada tomorrow. So you'll, again, hit the subscribe button to see when we go live. But hope everyone's having a great weekend, and we'll be back with some more updates tomorrow as we cruise through COVID. Have a great night.